This evening, let's explore how the pursuit of experiences leads not to the mastery of meditation. Many, 500, about 100 years before the advent of Buddha, good old Lao Tzu taught the philosophical yin and yang of the Tao Te Ching. There's the path of yang, patriarchy, and rigidity, which gives us elitism. It seeks to be special. I'm a special person. I want to have special experiences, to really set me apart. Versus the path of yin, the path of flexibility, the path of egalitarianism. I want to find the easiest, quickest, and simplest way to become Buddha so I can help everybody else who wants to do it easily and simply and quickly. The path of elitism is slow and difficult. The path of egalitarianism is easy and quick. The path of elitism requires great effort. The type you might hear about sung in an ancient saga. The kind that separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls. It's not for everybody, it's not for most people. But the path of yin is the path of ease, and it is for everybody. Here's the actual method. The path of active concentration is the path of yang. What then is the path of yin? Mere perception, practiced vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Every time we breathe in, we access our sympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to notice. To notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. What then are we to do with that which we notice? Meditate, of course, and how do we do that? Every time we breathe out, we access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is already wired for physical relaxation and mental release. Calming and freeing. Physically calming, mentally freeing, which the Buddha already took into account in the Anapanasati set of mindfulness meditations and contemplations. I look forward to meditating with you tonight after about a minute of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you who help support this channel on Patreon. If you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of the non-corporeal Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. We come now to this evening's practice text, or sadhana if you fancy. Its title is Secular Loving Kindness, True Knowledge, and Liberation. It is an adaptation of both the Anapanasati and Metta suttas, arguably the two most popular of the discourses attributed to the Buddha. Just as a child, when I couldn't swim, I made friends with the kiddie pool. And I would hold on to the railing with white knuckle intensity as I slowly walked down the steps into the kiddie pool, chanting these next four lines that help us to train in right aspiration, right view, and right zeal. The second, first, and sixth folds of the Eightfold Path. Together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, raving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, raving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. We're going to begin with 8 love meditations. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the pragmatically circumstantial good fortune of safety. Especially now with all that's going on with the Palestinians, with the Ukrainians, and in Africa. As we breathe in, let us silently and mentally recite safe. As we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite all. It's not our job to visualize or believe or emote. If all we do is simply recite these words silently and mentally in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation, we will make progress on the path. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the idealistically circumstantial good fortune of plenty. As silently and mentally we recite boon all. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the pragmatically physical good fortune of health. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the idealistically physical good fortune of charisma. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the pragmatically interpersonal good fortune of harmony. Remember, if at any point you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the pragmatically mental good fortune of happiness. Our goal here is not to work magic. Our goal here is to exercise our empathetic intention. The Buddha taught in the Anapanasati discourse, it is 12 meditations and 4 contemplations are taught, which divide evenly into 4 sets of 4. We begin with Kayasati's only set of 4 preliminary meditations that center our bodies. We begin with the first of centering's 4 physical preliminary practices, where we mindfully notice and even investigate our relaxingly longer, gentle exhalations. We do this during the inhalation. We do this by playing with a rhetorical question, which we divide in half. During the inhalation, we silently and mentally recite the preposition how. During the exhalation, we silently and mentally recite the adjective long. Remember, this question is rhetorical. We do not try to control the depth or speed of our breathing. We simply play with these words in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation and relaxation. Notice the adjective mindfully. Mindfulness is the first of the 7 enlightenment factors. Fortunately, mindfulness can be practiced effortlessly. During each inhalation, our sympathetic nervous system is already wired to perceive. We continue with the second of centerings for physical preliminary practices where we mindfully notice and even investigate the coalescence of our invigoratingly sharper inhalations. As silently and mentally we recite how in harmony with our inhalation and short in harmony with our exhalation. Simply by the power of words, we will notice a gentle invigoration, which is the third of 7 enlightenment factors. Now we come to the third of centerings for physical preliminary practices, where we mindfully notice and even investigate our bodies. How do we do that? As we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite the perceptual verb feel. And as we exhale, we silently and mentally recite the noun form, which functions as a synonym for body. And we'll notice the verb investigate. And investigation is the second of enlightenment factor, and it's basically just the opposite of being defensive. To the left and the right of the painting of the meditating Jedi, we see pieces of art depicting couples sitting in various permutations of a tantric pose known as Yabiyam. This serves to remind us that this exercise can be practiced during tantric sex. Now we come to the fourth of Centering's 4 physical preliminary practices where we allow our bodies to tranquilly relax. During the inhalation, this feeling was effortless, for we are already wired to notice during every inhalation. And during this exercise, the calming is effortless, for we are already wired to mentally free and physically calm during each exhalation due to the workings of our parasympathetic nervous system. Tranquility is the 5th enlightenment factor. We continue with Vedanasati, set of 4 jhana meditations that center our feelings. So we've gone from the physical to the interpersonal. We begin with the first of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices, where we savor the first jhana's invigorating, blissful joy that flows from gently grinning with the corners of our mouth, the apples of our cheeks, and the crow's feet of our eyes. Towards what? Towards our bodies, of flesh, blood, and bone. Notice that joy is the fourth enlightenment factor. As we breathe in, we silently and mentally, where's the cursor? We silently and mentally recite the verb grin. As we exhale, we silently and mentally recite the noun form. And we don't have to force the grin. If all we do is silently and mentally recite these words, in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation, the grin will come spontaneously. And really, that's the best way. I'll be right back. I must blow my nose. And I'm back. If at any point during this evening you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. We come now to the second of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices where we savor the second jhana's peaceful joy that flows from gently grinning with the corners of our mouth, the apples of our cheeks, and the crow's feet of our eyes, towards our thoughts, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining it clearly. We're using the word thoughts as an umbrella term. As we breathe in, we continue to silently and mentally recite the verb grin. And during our exhalation, we silently and mentally recite the umbrella term thoughts. Now we come to the third of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices where we savor the third jhana's contentment. By mindfully noticing, investigating, and coalescing our thoughts, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. Coalescing is what we experience as our lungs fill with air during every inhalation. And it has a very subtle effect on the energies of our body, causing them too to coalesce within our central channel. As we breathe in, we continue reciting the sensory verb feel. And as we exhale, we silently and mentally recite the umbrella term thoughts. Now we come to the fourth of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices, where this time we savor the 4th jhana's neutrality. By allowing our thoughts, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining to tranquilly relax. Remember, we are already wired to physically calm, to physically relax during each exhalation, thanks to the function of our parasympathetic nervous system. We continue with Chittasati's second set of 4 jhana meditations that center our mind. We begin with the first of 4 mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the 5th jhana's sphere of infinite spaciousness. By mindfully noticing, investigating, and coalescing our mind's ability to see, hear, feel, taste, smell, and the like, and clearly we are using the noun mind as another umbrella term. As we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite the sensory verb feel. And as we exhale, we silently and mentally recite the umbrella term mind. We continue with the second of 4 mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the 6th jhana's sphere of infinite awareness, which we generate by allowing our mind to invigoratingly gladden, as towards it we gently smile. From the corners of our mouth, the apples of our cheeks, and the corners of the crow's feet of our eyes. We come now to the third of 4 mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the 7th jhana sphere of non-graspability, as we allow our minds, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, to tranquilly relax in the most sustainable way. As silently and mentally we recite the noun mind as we breathe in, and silently and mentally we recite the verb calm as we breathe out. Remember, with every exhalation, our parasympathetic nervous system is already wired to calm and relax our body. We come now to the 4th of 4 mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the 8th jhana sphere of acquiescent non-labeling by experiencing the liberating equanimity or balance of our controlling tendencies to push and pull. This equanimity is the 7th enlightening factor. As we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite the noun mind. As we exhale, we silently and mentally recite the verb free, remembering that with every exhalation, our parasympathetic nervous system is wired to release and free, in this case, our mind. We end Anapanasati with Dhammasati or Anika Vipassanas, set of 4 impermanence contemplations to help us circumstantially let go. We begin with the first of 4 contemplations where we invigoratingly consider course and permanence with a rhetorical question. As we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite where, and as we exhale, we silently and mentally recite change. Remember, it's not our job to answer this question, or to visualize, or to believe. All we gotta do is recite these words in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. We come to the second of 4 contemplations, where we consider subtle impermanence, with the words where, fade. We come to the third of 4 contemplations where we consider very subtle impermanence, with where and cease. We conclude with the fourth of four contemplations where we consider relinquishing, surrendering, and letting go, with the words where, yield. Let us return to our love meditations, wishing that all beings of all worlds now experience the circumstantial good fortune of safety. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the physical good fortune of health. Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the interpersonal good fortune of harmony. On the second thought, how about love? Let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now experience the mental good fortune of wisdom. Let's seal our practice by performing the chant to help us train in right communication, conduct, and commerce of the third, fourth, and fifth folds of the Eightfold Path. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and commerce flow spontaneous and uncontrived. And let us conclude with right view and right intentions, first and second folds of the Eightfold Path. May everyone be free from misery. May everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 11 hours or so, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning lesson and meditation. Until then, May you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.